The briefing room fell silent the moment she walked in. Her boots echoed sharply against the polished floor, each step measured and precise. The air smelled faintly of coffee, sweat, and gun oil, the familiar scent of the Marines. She was young, mid-20s at most, her uniform pressed with immaculate precision. Yet it wasn't her appearance that caught everyone's attention. It was her eyes, calm, unreadable, carrying the weight of something that didn't belong to someone so young. The name stitched over her chest read, Lieutenant Maya Rios. No one in that room knew who she truly was, except one man who would soon find out in a way that would change everything. If you believe in kindness, courage, and second chances, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Armed Forces Stories. Every story here reminds us that sometimes the bravest battles aren't fought on the battlefield, they're fought within the heart. Colonel James Harlow sat at the front of the room, reviewing files with the efficiency of a man who had seen it all. 25 years in the Marines had made him a legend, but also a ghost of his former self. The wars had taken comrades, his family, and most of his hope. He glanced up briefly when the young lieutenant entered, noting her crisp salute and steady posture. He'd seen countless recruits come and go, yet there was something eerily familiar about her. Her name tugged at the edge of his memory like a shadow he couldn't quite place. The briefing was routine at first. The colonel read through call signs, assigning each Marine to their respective units for an upcoming joint operation. He asked one after another, his tone clipped and controlled. Eagle 2, he called. Here, sir. Raptor 6, present. Then his eyes fell to the last name on the list. Lieutenant Rios, he said firmly. Call sign? For a moment, the air itself seemed to hesitate. She stood straight, hands at her sides, but her voice trembled ever so slightly as she replied, Phantom 7, sir. The pen slipped from Colonel Harlow's fingers. His breath caught in his throat. The room went still, every eye shifting toward him. He froze, as if the words had pulled him backward through time, 15 years earlier, to a burning desert, to a mission that had gone horribly wrong. Phantom 7 wasn't just a call sign. It was a ghost, one he thought he'd buried forever. 15 years ago, during Operation Iron Falcon, Harlow had led a covert unit deep behind enemy lines. The unit's sniper, call sign Phantom 7, had been the youngest soldier in the team. Precise, fearless, a sharpshooter like no other. But the mission had gone south. An ambush, an explosion, and radio silence. Phantom 7 was presumed dead. The soldier's real name had never been disclosed. A classified identity under Black Ops protocol. And yet here she stood, alive. Or at least someone carrying that same ghostly call sign. Harlow's mind raced as the briefing continued. The lieutenant's voice, her discipline, even the subtle way she scanned the room, everything about her mirrored the one he'd lost years ago. After the meeting, he called her into his office. The silence between them felt thick with things unsaid. She stood at attention, but her eyes softened as she noticed the trembling in his hands. Slowly, the truth unraveled. Maya Rios wasn't the same Phantom 7 from that mission, but she was connected. Her father had been the original Phantom 7, the young sniper who had saved Harlow's unit at the cost of his own life. She had grown up on his stories, on the pride and pain of a hero she never got to meet. Her father's rifle, the same model used in the operation, was all she had left of him. Joining the Marines was her way of finishing what he started. Harlow felt his chest tighten. He remembered the day they recovered fragments of that mission. The broken dog tags, the empty rifle case, and the message Phantom 7 had left on the radio seconds before the blast, "Tell my little girl I'll see her in the stars." And now, years later, here she was, standing before him, the echo of that promise. Days turned into weeks as they prepared for deployment. Despite her rank, Maya worked twice as hard as anyone else. She carried her father's discipline, his quiet strength, and an unspoken pain that drove her forward. Harlow found himself watching her from a distance, seeing in her the reflection of the soldier who had once saved him. There were moments when she'd sit alone after drills, polishing her rifle and staring at the night sky. as if waiting for an answer only the stars could give. Then came the mission, a remote operation in hostile territory, eerily similar to the one that had claimed her father's life. Harlow's instincts screamed to keep her off the field, but Maya insisted. "Sir," she had said, her voice steady yet soft, "this time, Phantom 7 comes home." The operation went smoothly at first, but near extraction, their convoy was ambushed. Gunfire erupted, chaos filled the air, and communication lines went down. Harlow and Maya found themselves pinned under heavy fire. It was then that Harlow saw it, the same fearless precision he remembered from years ago. Maya moved like a ghost through smoke, covering her team, leading the wounded to safety. Every shot she fired echoed the legacy of the man whose call sign she bore. When the chopper finally lifted off, the sky burned orange behind them. Harlow looked across at her, dusty, exhausted, but alive. And for the first time in years, he smiled. He didn't see the ghost of a lost soldier anymore. He saw his redemption. Back at base, word of her bravery spread fast. But it was the ceremony weeks later that silenced every heart in the room. Maya stood in her dress blues beside the colonel, holding a folded flag. Harlow took a deep breath and addressed the troops, his voice steady but filled with emotion. 15 years ago, he said, I lost Phantom 7 in battle. Today I stand beside another, not by blood but by courage. She carries his name, his spirit, and his promise. And because of her, he finally came home. The applause was quiet at first, then rose like thunder. Maya's eyes shimmered with tears she couldn't hide. She looked up at the sky, and for a moment, she swore she saw the faint glimmer of a star brighter than the rest. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you of the sacrifices made by those who serve, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Armed Forces Stories. Every view keeps these memories alive and honors those who stood when others couldn't. Tell us in the comments, what does bravery mean to you?